Connection with Shade Network activated. Audio file download commencing. Files marked extremely sensitive. Strategic Homeland Division only. Agent commencing transmission.
What's up, agents? You listen to episode 172 of SITREP Radio, giving you the news and other happenings in the world of the Division 2. Today we're talking about PvP in the Division 2. Yay! Woo! But first, my name is Mike, and joining me as always, my co-hosts, Robert.
Hello.
And Luke.
Hello.
And I hope you have both had a great 2 weeks, I believe.
Oh yeah, we didn't record last week. Well, we did.
Technically we did, but not everyone will hear that. And welcome to any new listeners of the show. Very quickly, just want to apologize that the episode didn't go out last week as expected. Unfortunately, most of the time we were able to sit down and record the episode on a weekly basis, but unfortunately life happens, shit got in the way, and we should be back to normal this week onwards. So don't worry, we haven't disappeared yet.
What do you mean yet?
I don't know. We could disappear.
Well, I don't want to disappear.
Stop playing fucking Metallica. What's wrong with you, dude? Anyway, guys, what have we been up to recently? Awkward pause. Gonna go to Luke.
There we go.
Lots of Tarkov. And the three of us have recently started playing a different space game, haven't we?
Yeah, we're back playing Destiny.
Well, two of you are.
I've briefly played Destiny.
I know you did. I caught you playing it yesterday.
You don't really catch me playing it.
I was looking on Discord, scrolling around, and look, I can rob a playing Destiny 2.
What are you gonna do, baby?
You do what you want. Yeah, we all went bargain basement shopping this week, didn't we? And bought Battlefront 2 for £3.74, I think it was.
That's exactly correct. The exact amount of money that I paid.
I like the way he's like, I think it was £3.74. I'm pretty sure that's a very definite
I actually
amount.
bought it for my son as well.
I wasn't sure if I got it wrong, to be honest, but yeah. I mean, it's definitely the best game I've ever played that cost less than £4. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty reasonable, I would expect. But it's kind of funny because me and Luke started playing it, and Rob was like, I'm not going to fucking play that game. Get the fuck out. Spends about an hour going, oh my god, this is so fucking good.
Yeah, but then after that hour, I was like, this is not as good as I thought it was to begin with.
Yeah, because we basically changed to like sweaty modes, and it was super sweaty. But it's good because we've all been technically playing PvP. Rob, you've been playing Division PvP.
Division PvP? Yeah, I've definitely been playing that.
Not Division PvP, Destiny PvP. Luke's been playing Tarkov PvP. I've been playing Battlefront PvP.
If you can call it that.
I don't know if you really count that as PvP.
Why wouldn't you count that as PvP?
There definitely are a lot of bots in that game.
It's technically, well, of course, I mean, you've got the droids versus...
No, I don't mean that.
The Republic. Oh. Are you sure they're bots, Rob?
Yes, when you have lots of players that are named after Obi-Wan Kenobi, just slightly differently, you can kind of tell it's a bot.
Dude, they're just massive fans of Star Wars.
No.
Wow, somebody's got this cynical head on, haven't they?
No, I was watching, because while I was playing Destiny, what day did you stream, you two, playing it? And I was just like, watching some of the names, and some of them were obviously bots, because it was literally like John Kenobi or something like that. And it was just like, yeah, okay.
Dude, that was like the world's biggest fan of Star Wars, John Kenobi.
There's probably a lot of Star Wars nerds out there.
Yeah, but not
I'm looking at two of them right now.
Yeah.
Who's more Star Wars fan, me or you, though?
I don't know.
It's probably me. But yeah, I don't know if you can count Battlefront as technically PvP because it's just cannon fodder. You're just running into enemies until you're dead constantly, but it's fun.
No less PvP than Battlefield and or COD.
Well, it's Battlefield with a skin,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. Pretty good fucking skin with lights and sound. I mean, you can't fucking deny that. The minute the music comes on, the freaking blasters are going. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about today. That's for, if you want to go check out. Yeah, a different podcast. And for some of you that don't know, me and Rob actually recorded, 3 episodes of a Battlefront fucking podcast back in the day called Frontline Radio. So it's kind of interesting.
What's it called? Frontline Radio? Are you sure it was called that?
I'm pretty it was called Frontline Radio. And it was kind of interesting to be like, hey, we're playing that game that we were like talking about.
Why did we call it that? It sounds like something to do with defleeing animals. I swear there's a brand of defleeing it's called Frontline.
Yeah, Frontline.
Yeah. That was a bad decision, whoever made that decision.
Oh.
That's why we only had 3 episodes, I guess.
What, because of a terrible title?
Well, and the fact that... when did we start that podcast? It was... What game? What were we planning on playing for like ages, and then it turned out to be really bad, so we just ended the podcast.
I'm pretty sure it was Battlefront.
Battlefront, the first one, right?
No. It was Battlefront 2.
Really? No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't Battlefront 2.
No.
Was it not?
No,
it was a Battlefield
1.
It must be the first one.
Yeah. Must have been.
Can't be Battlefield 5.
It won't be the second one because that came out after Division.
Look, either way, our credentials are legit. We've played Division 1 PvP. We've played Division 2 PvP. We've played Battlefield. Fuck me, I've played Plants vs. Zombies PvP. Does that count?
One game.
Don't know.
And the servers were dead.
Hey. What do you expect?
We played it one night. We found a game and we were playing it for ages, and then next night couldn't find a game because it's just a dead game.
I will say that's like one good thing about playing Battlefield at the minute. It's £3.74, and like the people you're playing against are like level 3 to 10 because that's my current level, and either that's matchmaking or everyone's just gone out and bought that game because it's on offer.
Is this podcast sponsored by EA?
It is. It's in the game, dude. Which we're not currently because it's almost 10 o'clock at night. What the fuck?
Can we confirm or deny whether there's loot boxes in the podcast then?
Yeah, listen to win.
Listen to win.
Yeah, if you listen to the end of the podcast, you might hear a secret phrase.
That will give you a £3.74 game.
Send all messages to @SITREP Radio Rob.
Oh no, what have I done?
You walked into that one, dude. Anyway, the last time we recorded, we talked about gear, loot, and builds in the Division 2. We said the Division 1. How do you feel after we had that conversation? Do you feel like it was a good conversation to have, Rob?
I don't remember it.
Well, you were pretty inebriated, I'm pretty sure. I
don't think I was inebriated. Pretty sure I was sober, but I have been since then, so it's just been deleted from my brain. I mean, I can go back and look at the notes, I guess.
I can always just call you Tom if you want. Hi, my name's Tom.
Hi, Tom.
I feel like I'm bringing that up once again and no one's going to know what the fuck we're on about. Anyway, I felt we covered some good points on it. It's nice to see that some of those points, because I had to look over a couple of Reddit threads that obviously with TU6 being inbound, people are putting out their thoughts and ideas and all the rest of it. And some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today is from those posts. It's just like a general kind of consensus from the community as well as like some of the stuff that, you know, some of the way we're kind of thinking about these kind of things. And there's a huge thing about builds and builds being a huge problem in PvP, but let's get down to it. So
hang on before we start.
Yeah.
Did either of you sign up for the ETF?
That's negatory, Remus.
Yeah.
Did you?
No.
Why? Why? Can I ask you all why?
I was going to. And then I realised I don't have much holiday left.
I think I looked at the dates, and it's literally the week I get back to work after being off for a month, so that would have been a no anyway. But I'm going to be honest, I think there's probably better people that can go that aren't related to a podcast or content format in any way, shape, or form. Like, I feel like we're in a pretty good position. You know, if people want to listen from the dev team and hear our thoughts, then they're out there. They don't need to, or they can communicate with us if they really want to.
Yeah, I guess we have an output. We don't really need to go and voice our opinions there. We can just do it here, and if they want to listen, they can.
But if you want to ignore us, you can also do that as well. I don't know, Luke. Why did you not apply for ETF?
He doesn't care.
No, it's not that I don't care. One of the reasons you've already said, so obviously, like, we put our thoughts out on a almost weekly basis. Another one is I'll be honest, really don't know how to fix the game. I feel like my input would be completely and utterly wasted. There are definitely far better candidates than me to go on an ETF. Just being honest.
No, I think we're kind of like all in the same frame of mind. I do think, being incredibly honest, that there's better people out there that can help fix this game. I could be wrong. I don't know. Anyway, should we talk about Dark Zone Boys and PvP?
If we must.
Okay. We must. You must. Everyone's talking about endgame issues with the Division 2 at the minute, and probably the biggest one of all is the fact that, in general, PvP is a huge step backwards to some. I know we've said it a few times on this podcast, but for us, I'm sure you guys would agree, endgame for us in Division 1 was PvP. It was the Dark Zone. And if we weren't doing that, we were either doing Last Stand or the skirmish modes that were added during like 1.8. I kind of feel like the tension that we had back in the Division 1 Dark Zone at the minute just isn't there. And I don't think we're ever going to get back to that feeling we had from the beat of the Division 1. We've said this a few times. I think the main reason is literally what we've discussed kind of last episode, is the fact that PvP issues are somewhat based on builds and team functionality. And at the minute, there's no team setup, which means there's no tank, DPS, healer. There's no way to support each other in any way, as you would have done, like we would have done in the first game. You know, we need some kind of healer build gear set that isn't Nomad or Striker. And then we've got like these hybrid builds. We said this all before anyway. You've got tanky builds with spotter on the rope builds, which allow high damage for not stacking into DPS. This stuff kind of needs changing and reworking. And, I don't really want to discuss it more than we already have. Because we had a whole episode devoted to that. But I'm hoping, and I'm sure you guys are as well, it's going to be kind of sorted out in the Loot 2.0 style rework that they're probably going to do in TU6. But I guess first things first, for the Dark Zone, do you think we should up the player count for the Dark Zone?
Yes.
Luke? Yeah?
Said it before the game even came out.
It wasn't enough.
It was never going to be enough. I kind of understood where they were coming from with their reasons for it, but I think they just got it wrong, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not creating much conflict at the minute, is it?
No.
Is it? I can't actually remember. It is 12 people in there
yeah.
at the minute. It is 12. It needs to be 16 or 20. Is it 16? No. 16 or 20, doesn't it, really?
I'd go 20 myself, yeah. Because
yeah.
It's easy to get people in the Dark Zone that just don't want to PvP. You had it in Division 1. So you either get rid of the Dark Zone altogether and just give people the options that are PvE or PvP, which is not an option that I want because I really enjoyed the Dark Zone. Or you just increase the player count in the Dark Zone. Because if you're getting, at the moment you've got 12 people, you're in a 4-man squad, that gives you 8 opponents. If some of those opponents aren't in there for PvP, you'd literally just walking around searching for people to shoot at. And then you get into the whole mess of Division 1 Dark Zone, which was ganking people that don't necessarily want to PvP anyway. So,
yeah, they need to do a better job of backfilling the servers once people leave as well. I don't feel like that's done a good enough job.
That's a separate issue because, with such a small player count in terms of 12 people in a Dark Zone, if you're not in a full server, that limits your chances of PvP even greater. If you're in a 20-man, 24-man, 28-man server, and some people leave, you might not notice a difference.
I'm kind of wondering, would we be better with a kind of matchmaking system at the Dark Zone checkpoints? So you go to matchmake and you want a PvP zone server, if you know what I mean. So you're going straight into a zone. In theory, you're going straight into a server that should be full of people that want to PvP.
Did you just create a PvE Dark Zone by accident?
I think we're going to have that anyway. We're kind of there anyway.
Well, I mean, we fucking are now at the moment.
Rob, over to you.
I agree to increase the player count to the baby DZ, but I don't think they should increase, well, maybe to 16, because like the amount of checkpoint camping done in the grown-up DZ is insane. I mean, people farming them for caches, aren't they? Well, they have done before. So I think that would just create more of that and be more of a hassle. Like if you've got 3 teams just looking at a checkpoint and you're trying to get out of it, you're just not going to want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we had the same thing in the Division 1, didn't we? You literally have people outside the door and be like, no, I don't want to go out there. I've had enough. Do you think bringing turrets over from the normalized DZ to the occupied would be a good way of rectifying that?
No.
You don't think?
It would just move the conflict.
It'll at least
just
give you a chance
range.
Yeah, but at least give you a chance to get out the door first, wouldn't it? Because at the minute, you can't even get out the door, can you? Because like you have people hiding around the corner, and then like they shoot you the minute you spawn out.
Yeah, but it would just move the when the conflict happens in the normalized DZ. You obviously have to trigger going rogue, so that isn't much of an issue. So I generally think you could up the player count in the normalized, but not in the occupied.
What if they actually change the spawn system? So if there's rogues actually at a checkpoint, you can't spawn there anymore. And then that way there's no way to get ganked constantly out of a checkpoint. You have to kind of choose an alternate re-entry point.
I feel like there's a reason why they wouldn't have done that already.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've always had the option to do that, and that's what people have said, but then I think that would be one way of perhaps reworking it. I don't know. I mean, that's just an idea. I think it's definitely worth the try to up the player count. It's going to make it more interesting because that's one of the things that we had in the Division 1. You've got, 24 players. You've got 24 people in a dark zone area together. Now, I know the dark zones that we've got are pretty small, and that's why they're not really wanting it, but give it a shot. Chuck on a PTS and see what's the maximum amount of people you can get in there. And if it's good or bad, you can try it and then revoke it or adjust it if need be.
Yeah, because I remember Terry Spears' argument for not having more than 12, and that's because they play tested it with 12 people. But in a live game that is lacking a community at the moment a little bit because there's not much to do, you ain't going to ever have 12 people in the dark zone.
No. And that's why I think, kind of going back to what Luke said, you need to kind of, you should have at least 4 teams in the dark zone at all times. And the minute the dark zone areas kind of get low, or server gets low, like load in another one from another server, transfer them if need be. Okay, so kind of moving on to the actual dark zone areas that we have in general. So at the minute, we have 3 small dark zone areas that are completely different to the dark zone that we had in the Division 1. I can kind of understand the reason that we've got like these 3 split up areas. If you think about it, one of the main problems that people had with the Division 1 was people were just like legging it to what, DZ6 from DZ1. I mean, like, it was a good kind of chase to some degree, but it was also kind of a bullshit kind of gameplay mechanic, wasn't it? Like, go rogue, run north.
It was a terrible PvP mechanic, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Name me another game where you go into a PvP mode and have to run, like, to what? You're either running to get to a fight or you're chasing somebody that's running away from a fight. Give me another PvP game where that happens.
Well, in most PvP, I'm trying to think. Battlefield probably does that because of the fucking size of their maps. If you spawn at like your home base or some shit, can you imagine how far you've got to get?
You'd be not run. Well, you don't kill someone then run away though, do you? You don't go back to your base.
No, I don't. That's true.
I've done my job, Sarge. I'm out.
Unless there's a tank coming the other way or some shit. Yeah, it's just fucking weird. So I can kind of understand, like, they've gone, cool, we'll just split the dark zones up. And I kind of thought about it. I was like, yes, that is, and I'm seeing a lot of people say this as well. It's one of the big differences that we've got to the Division 1. It's like you had this huge area for people to play about with. And then we've just got these 3 small different areas. And then, 2 of them are normalized. Normalization at the minute, I don't know how you guys feel about it, isn't great. It nerfs your build more than anything. And then you've got 1 occupied dark zone. So like, and not just that, you've got 3 small areas. So you're already, if you've got people wanting to go into the dark zone, they're not going into 1 joint one. You're splitting them up into 3 different dark zones all at once. You think, I'd imagine, that's like 24 people across that server, isn't it? Or something like that. I can't remember. If not more. But yeah, I mean, how do you guys feel about the actual dark zones that we've got at the minute?
You asking, would I prefer 1 big dark zone or 1 or 3 little ones?
Well, which would you prefer? Would you prefer the old method of the dark zone we had in Division 1?
I can't really answer. I think they've got their own merits, but I definitely preferred it in the first game, but then I don't know whether it'd work in the second game.
Because we haven't had that chance to kind of try it, have we?
Can't really compare and contrast, can you?
Alright, okay, so here's another question. Do you think, Luke, we need 2 normalized dark zone areas?
Ooh.
Do you not think we should just have
Flip
1?
it. Have 1 normalized and the rest are
occupied.
Or can you think of something else that the third one could do? Like 1 normalized, 1 occupied, and 1 something else.
I have something else for that.
If we were going to do that, so you could give me an option for a third dark zone.
His dick out.
I would have a preset DZ, so you just load in as a preset build. So everybody's, let's say you have the Holy Trinity, so you've got a tank, you've got a healer, you've got a fucking DPS guy. You pick one of those 3 sets to be a dark zone character, and every DPS character is the same, every healer character is the same, so on and so forth, and it's all about skill then. But I still I'm a big believer in making the dark zones more populated, so I don't think it really fucking matters what they do if they're not.
Would there be NPCs in that dark zone, or just?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I've never had and never will have a problem with there being NPCs in the dark zone. That's part of what makes the dark zone special.
PvP.
I don't. Yeah, I've said before I don't agree with the stupid fucking respawn timers on the landmarks at the moment. That's a separate conversation. So.
Well, I mean, it's part of this conversation. It's the dark zone at the end of the day. I mean, what is it? You're only seeing landmarks being flagged up either when you're close to them or.
It's not even that. It's the stupid respawn timers on them. They respawn in like fucking 4.5 seconds or whatever stupid time it is. It's just ridiculous. I said it before. If you want players to engage with each other, like bearing in mind we've only got 12 players at the moment, you could do a landmark, go and extract, go back to the same landmark, do it again, go and extract, go back to the same landmark, do it again and extract. You never have to see another player the whole time you're in the dark zone because you don't have to move.
Yeah, but the thing is, some of them aren't even having to do that because your loot's going straight into your inventory.
Yeah, that's a shit.
So that just needs to be gone straight away. Get back to the loot cycle of just going in,
having to extract.
Yeah. I think take it back to 2 occupied areas. Give us 1 baby DZ if you want people, and rotate it. Either rotate it weekly, daily, or every 48 hours. So you're not stuck playing the same ones each week for like a whole week, should I say? And then you take and use. It's either that or just give them a PvE dark zone. Just get rid of one of them and have it as a PvE dark zone. Give us a normalized one and give us an occupied one, and then have the PvE one be hard as nails with the extraction loot that's going to teach you the core mechanics of the game, of like the whole dark zone, and add hunters like what we had in survival if need be, or a chance of hunters or elite NPCs or something. I know you don't particularly want hunters being brought back, but they're kind of...
Oh, imagine that. You're in the middle of a massive 3-team PvP battle and then a hunter just spawns and annihilates everyone.
I personally wouldn't mind... I want to talk about world events and other incentives like to kind of doing the dark zone later on, but I wouldn't mind hunters being...
Incentive is a key word, I think. The fact that's something that's lacking in the dark zone at the moment.
It's lacking in the game in general at the minute for a lot of people, but especially in the dark zone. What is the point in going in the dark zone for a lot of people at the minute? But I do understand the whole point of what they were trying to do with the normalized dark zone and why they've even added normalized dark zone in the first place. You're trying to bring I wouldn't say more casual. You're trying to bring more people into those areas, and I think you've just pissed off more people as a result of that. I don't know if you agree, Rob.
Yeah,
it's not worked. Like, it's kind of funny because you've got no one playing the dark zone, whether that's normalized or hardcore versions, at all. So it's not worked, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's done the complete opposite of what they were trying to actually achieve by doing these normalized and then the grey rogue status and all the rest of it.
Can I have one of those dark zones as well, a hardcore version where you lose everything when you die? Let's make let's make a Tarkov version of the dark zone. Yes.
Well, this is it. When Rob was like, "Oh, has anyone got an idea for the third dark zone?" Make it a survival dark zone. Done. Just make a survival dark zone. When you leave or whenever you switch your game off, that's it. You lose everything.
If you want tension in the dark zone, make it like Tarkov. I've been playing the shit out of that game recently, and I'm still scared to lose the loot that I've got.
But would you not prefer that?
Hey, I would love that. If you gave me dark zone specific gear that you could only get in that Tarkov dark zone, but then every time you die, you leave it behind. And if somebody finds it and extracts it, great. If they don't, tough shit, it just fucking melts into oblivion. You wouldn't see me for days because I'd be in there. It'd be like Division 1 again. Oh, where did Luke's character spawn? Yeah, he's in the dark zone.
But this seems to be like a big thing. Why do people love survival? And why did people play the PvP in survival? And I kind of keep seeing these comments like, well, because the PvP at that point in survival is its fairest because everyone's starting with a fucking pistol.
Yeah, but only for the first, 5 minutes? If you've got a pistol and you run into somebody with an LMG, it's as unfair as it's ever going to get.
Oh yeah, but that's perfect. So if you have a whole dark zone dedicated around that idea...
I don't think you understand the word perfect.
No, I know, but that's... I don't know. I've said this before, and I really would like that kind of style dark zone. I really do. I think that would just add a bit of a difference to the game at the minute. You can have an old school one. You can have you can keep the normalized one if you need be, and then you've got a survival-esque one without even having to bring survival back, because you've seen so many people clamber for that due to balancing and all the rest of it.
I think these are all brilliant ideas.
But
they need to fix the fundamentals of the PvP before any of these ideas are going to work. Like
what?
Because okay, yeah, Tarkov Dark Zone sounds like a good idea. I would never do it because I'd hate that type of game, which is part of the problem. That's going to be a niche community that's going to want to play that type of thing. The same as a survival Dark Zone, also niche.
Run it as an event. Like, make it a weekend thing or a seasonal thing. Having something like that just... I don't know.
No, I agree these are great ideas. I just don't think it's going to fix...
No, I mean, it's not going to...
the lack of people
PvP.
in the Dark Zone.
Yeah, true. We've talked about checkpoint camping. You're not happy with putting turrets all over the place. I kind of think putting turrets in all the entrances would at least give you a fair game to get out the door first. But that's just me. We've talked about loot to inventory options. Shouldn't be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Rogue system.
Nothing
I
wrong.
wouldn't mind it if we had at least certain times of the day where you don't even need to flag rogue at all. Rogue, I meant. You just run old school TD1 rogue system. For like, I don't know, 15, 30 minutes. And during that time, I don't know, weather sets in, storm, snow. Your excuse can be something like Isaac's gone offline and it creates a kind of anything goes scenario. That just would... I'm just wondering, what do people want? Is there incentive to go in there or just different rogue options or what? What would you prefer, Luke?
I've never really been a big fan of the flagging rogue idea, but I mean,
I don't think we're going to ever step away from that. That's the only problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's horses for courses, isn't it? Because I went in the Dark Zone to PvP. Some people went in the Dark Zone to farm the... Thinking back to the first game, some people, not many, but some people went in the Dark Zone to farm the landmarks. So they weren't necessarily there for PvP. So if I walked up behind them and they weren't paying attention, they were dead before they knew what was happening. So I get why they brought the mechanic in. I'm just not particularly a fan of it.
Ganker.
Well, you're in the Dark Zone. There's a chance that PvP will find you. Tough fucking shit.
I kind of feel like adding set times of the day or just random set times of the... Like, do you know what I mean? Just random events. Kind of like contaminated events, supply drops. Having like 15, 20 minutes where anything goes would be kind of cool. But then there's got to be people in there at the end of the day to actually do that too. It's not much good having an event if no one's in there.
Yeah, it depends how frequent they were. Because if you'd given me 20 minutes of a day, I'm not sitting in the Dark Zone for 12
I'd say
hours
like
for that.
Once an hour or something like that. Every hour or something that would occur. But then it also means once an hour. If you don't like it, you get the fuck out. It gives you like a... Because you see all these people going absolutely mental during this... do you remember during this server shutdown times? And people would be just like... It was kind of like an anything goes for like 20, 30 minutes. I just kind of think having something like that would be kind of cool. Anyway. Verticality in the Dark Zone. Do you think verticality is one of the big issues with environmental design in the Dark Zones for the Division 2? Because if you kind of think back, a lot of our gunfights were either on like rooftop extractions, 3-story buildings. I'm trying to think like one of the buildings up in DZ6, that area we used to fight down by, was it DZ4 or 5 with the helicopter in the Division 1?
Yeah.
That was like one of the best. And you know, you're having to take the rope up to the top, and then even when you got to the top, you had kind of like 2-3 kind of levels to kind of fight over. But we don't really have that in the Division 2. It's just mostly streets or the odd rooftop to ground kind of combat. And then you kind of think the other way as well. There's no underground or subway system or anything. So you're not having those chases underground, or you remember you chased manhunts through like the subway system down in DC1.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about the level design with regards to PvP.
I know that it's pretty dense in the DZs.
When you think of extractions you go to, where they are and how they allow for PvP and all the rest of it.
Yeah, you got a point. All the extractions are pretty shit.
Ground level.
Yeah.
Most of them are ground level, and if not, they're pretty much like you climb up a slope to it.
Yeah, there's one is at DZ North where you're on like a broken highway. Yeah.
But most of them are pretty
yeah.
sure most of them. Yeah. Okay, Rob, incentives. What would be an incentive for you to go into the Dark Zone? Other than PvP, what would you want to see event-wise to go in there, or loot, or anything like that?
What you can't get anywhere else.
Would you agree with having, I know we've said about it before, but 515 gear or something like that?
No.
How come? If gear score doesn't matter due to normalization, what harm does it do?
Because that would just cause people to bitch, and they would end up putting it in the game somewhere else.
It doesn't matter though. Like, we're in a if you think about trying to think.
In Division 1, the Dark Zone, to begin with, for the first 6 to 12 months of the game, the Dark Zone was the best place to get loot.
Yes. But it's not anymore.
Well, it's just like every other part of the game.
That's what I mean.
It's not more efficient or less efficient than any other part of the game.
It's just there's more of the same.
Hmm.
So wouldn't having something like 515 gear, or bring div tech back so we can either optimize to 515, but it's a high calibration cost or something along those lines. Or, I don't know, use div tech gained from the Dark Zone so we trade for like 515 pieces from a DZ vendor.
I don't have a solution for this. I just don't think 515 gear would be the best way to do it. Which is why they haven't done it. Because they were thinking about it and then they stopped it.
I reckon that was more to do with...
It's power creep at the end of the day.
But we're always going to have a power creep, and we need a power creep for a grind at the end of the day.
Yeah, but then the problem with Division is if they increase the tier, say they increase to World Tier 6, everyone that has these perfected builds, I mean, the same thing happened when they delayed World Tier 5. We all had perfected builds in World Tier 4, and then we had to grind them out again.
But isn't that inevitable to happen again when we get another World Tier?
If we get another World Tier.
If.
Well, yeah, but then... I don't know.
Unless they...
change the meta.
Yeah. Luke, your thoughts on bringing 515 gear to the game? Obviously, they've spoke about bringing it to the game before.
Or
just something along those lines. It doesn't have to be 515. If normalization doesn't matter, if gear score doesn't matter due to normalization elsewhere, the only places it's going to matter is PvP. To a certain degree.
I'm struggling a bit because I'm a bit with Rob, because if you put something that's too exclusive in the Dark Zone, people are going to bitch and moan, and eventually people will give in and give it you elsewhere. Just like people are still bitching and moaning about the fucking Eagle Bearer.
Mm-hmm. I think the downside with the Eagle Bearer is
that's a good example though. That's a pinnacle weapon. You get it from a raid. If they did something like that in the Dark Zone, that would be incentive to go in the Dark Zone. It can't be RNG that you get it. You have to grind for it. Like, you have to get so many rogue kills. You have to get like so many anti-rogue kills. So you have to kill a load of rogues.
That's
never
not a bad
happened.
shout, actually.
Like,
So it's
have
basically a project.
like, yeah, but it's, and you have to clear so many landmarks. 100 landmarks, 20 rogue kills, 50 rogue kills, 50 kills as a rogue, and then you get an exotic at the end of the day. That's fucking one of the best PvE guns in the game. I know you'll think, well, why PvE? Because
No, I agree.
Because the game is predominantly PvE.
Well, the thing is, if you start putting PvP exclusives in as a reward for doing more PvP, just makes the people that do it more, i.e., and I'm not picking on them, but let's say streamers or people that have got a lot more free time, just gives them an edge the next time they go in with that PvP weapon that's more powerful than any other PvP weapon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely fine with Rob saying it needs to be a PvE reward for doing all the PvP.
Well, it makes sense,
It's
doesn't
what
it?
gets you in to do the PvP that's the whole point of the fucking conversation in the first place.
Yes. And then you might find some of those PvEers that are trying to farm for this gun stick around because they enjoyed the PvP.
It's not a bad shout at all. I definitely think you should increase. See, it's kind of a dodgy one because I don't want to say increase the chance of exotics, but definitely increase them in the events that actually occur in the Dark Zone, because I think that would create more conflict rather than I've killed, I don't know, 4 landmarks and I've got a pestilence at each one. Because you don't want that, do you? You want people going to these supply drops, or I don't want to say landmarks. I mean, landmarks, I want them to be a good thing, but I kind of think you should get other stuff other than just exotics and gear from them, maybe materials and all the rest of it. I don't know. Just to create more conflict. That's why I kind of thought when we talked about hunters earlier, yeah, we don't want hunters to be used like a lot, but it'd be nice to have some kind of world event style thing which like arrives, you have to kill it. It could be like 4 hunters, but they're badass as fuck and you can't take them down. It takes like 12 to 20 people to take them all down. Maybe more hunters, I don't know. Send in the Black Tusk. Maybe it's Black Tusk players doing it. Black Tusk NPCs, I mean. And you've got to take down all of them, kill the boss, and then you've got to fight for the loot obtained and then extract it. But then the other side of that is people would be fucked off doing all that, and then if they didn't get it. So, I don't know. Yeah. But we definitely need other things to do in the DZ to designate players man. Kind of get people to go manhunt or rogue, or I mean, another way I kind of thought about it is maybe have the game as an event select a player as manhunt or shade agent, and one team has to, I don't know, either be shade or rogue and attack and defend kind of thing. So you kind of have like an extraction kind of mechanic, like you're defending the president sort of thing. Not the president. I'm trying to think like what am I trying to think of? HVT. So you got HVT, but it's a player instead, and it's either a rogue or it could be shade. You can have the game designate, I don't know, one team is rogues, one team is shade agents, and they've got to help them extract or kill them.
Escort mission through the DZ.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Overwatch.
Is it? Yeah, but you're escort the payload.
Yeah.
Overwatch. Personally, I think you're just overcomplicating it a bit. It's not. I don't think you need the game modes or the fucking special events or whatever you're talking about in the Dark Zone to just make the PvP enjoyable, and the people will come. Like the game modes
they will come.
Yeah, the game modes in Battlefront 2 are like secondary to the PvP. Like we were playing that fucking game mode the other night where you had to capture the points. 5 points. Our team was on like
doing it.
Yeah, our team was on like 3, and the other team were on 47 or whatever stupid score.
Yeah, because
we were
there
all just running around killing each other.
Yeah, we were there.
It was fun. the PvP, I'm not saying that Battlefront 2's got the best PvP that people have ever played. I would dream of saying that, but it's more enjoyable. Therefore, people are just PvP. They don't give a fuck about what they're supposed to be doing. It's just, there's a guy over there, I'm going to shoot him in the face. Pew, pew, pew. You don't need to make it overly complicated. Just strip it back to its fucking basics. Get the gunplay right. Get the movement right. Get the TTK right. Let the fucking rest figure itself out.
Do you think the TTK should be higher or lower at the minute?
We can't really have an opinion on that.
Bear in mind, right, I probably get a lot of flack for this, but we're supposed to be playing a tactics-based, I wouldn't say a tactical... Cover-based shooter, and it's not. Most people are just running around in teams, especially like if you play Conflict, it's mostly whichever team can run to the other side quick enough and stomp the other team.
See, most games PvP that I've played, so COD, Battlefield, Battlefront, Tarkov, Siege, the TTK on all of those games is really quite low. Like Tarkov and Siege, you can get one tapped in the fucking head. COD and Battlefront and whatever, less so. I mean, yeah, you get shot in the face with a sniper rifle in Battlefield, then you're dead, which kind of makes sense. I was one of the people that complained a lot when the PvP for this game first came out and you were getting one shot by a sniper rifle because the builds were crazy. But that didn't sit with the rest of how the PvP worked. So, to me, you need to just strip it all back and just make the TTK a bit lower, and then it will force people to be a lot more tactical. You can't, and if you can't run and gun because you're dead before you get anywhere that you want to go, people aren't going to run and gun anymore, are they? It's just a fucking simple equation.
Accuracy, would you increase the headshot modifier?
If you were stripping it way back to what I've just said, I would increase the... Well, I don't even think you need to increase the headshot modifier. Just make it a fucking one-shot. If you're bringing TTK that low, just make it Siege-esque. You know, you get shot in the head, you're dead.
Okay.
God, that'd be fucking brutal, wouldn't it? And it needs to be... It needs to be took back to the basics, though. Doesn't it?
The problem you've got is... The way that the rest of the game fundamentally works is you are building your builds to be as powerful as possible, both tanky-wise and DPS-wise.
Yeah, that's something that...
But it shouldn't be that. That's
that's just how the game is, though, Mike. It's all right saying that's not how it should be. That's how the game is, because that's how all the build stats are based. Everything is like you said, it's a power increase on what you had before. Everybody's looking for extra stats. Then if you go and make PvP how I've just said, and it's one tap this and one tap that, but it's the only way to make you more tactical, why are you playing the PvE side of it and getting all these builds? You almost need to make it two like separate games. Like, you know how they're doing the Siege PvE game now as a separate game rather than just a PvE mode?
Yeah.
Sorry, but maybe Division 3 needs to be like that. Do you want Division 3? Or do you want Division 3 PvP? Choose which CD you buy. And I know people don't buy CDs anymore, but you know what I mean.
Blu-ray.
Yeah. It might be harsh. It might not be very popular. I may have just fucking ruined the franchise, but...
Well, I'm just kind of thinking... Like,
I mean, let's be radical. Let's be radical, because, you know, Division 1 PvP wasn't great. I'm not trying to sit here and say they had it all right the first time and they fucked it up this time around. Division 2 PvP is worse than it ever was before. You've either got to go back to what the good stuff was before and then try and improve on it, or you just got to get radical and start from the ground up again.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I've seen some of the things that people are saying on Reddit, like bring back the Division 1 movement. And I'm like, a lot of the stuff that we had in the Division 1 wouldn't work now. It doesn't make sense. The builds are different. You think like some of the perks and talents that we had in the Division 1 are non-existent. Like your actual character, agent, perks and talents, like critical save and on the move and all the rest of it. We haven't got those. And those were the things that I think people are kind of relying on. I wouldn't say relying on, but are kind of throwing back to what made the Division 1 fun, because you had those additional things that you had to proc to then. But then I feel like you're already kind of doing that with like On the Ropes and Spotter and all the rest of it. It's just not the same as that at all. That's more build orientated rather than. But that kind of worked with, that was teamwork. A lot of those things were teamwork as well, wasn't there? Like those talents and perks, which doesn't really seem to be much teamwork, especially with builds. And I think someone put it a really good way on Reddit. They were like, stop rewarding damage for building into electronics and stamina. Build for maybe like one or two of them. You shouldn't be able to get all three. I really think that is one of the big problems. And it's basically coming back to builds again, which, you know, I don't really want to keep banging on about, but I'm hoping that they get sorted with the next.
Yeah, going back to what you said about the extra perks and stuff. Those sort of things gave like streamers and good players the ability to 1v4 people, right?
Yeah, because you could constantly proc certain things. It's sustainability, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which to stay alive longer.
Yeah, but yeah, to be able to like 1v a server was one of the, like, that's what caused people to watch a lot of, well, Twitch streams, I guess, was to watch that happen. And that's not necessarily a bad thing to happen again.
Just make sure they work as intended this time around.
I hate to say it, but like back in Destiny 1 days, the PvP was, you could do that. There was the plays you could, if you were really good, you could clutch plays. Like people used to load into trials, get two people to leave, and they would 1v3 a whole game and win if you were good enough, right?
Mm.
And then with Destiny 2 PvP, when it first came out, it was all team shooting. And they've kind of gone away from that now, but it's still a little bit there. But I feel like we're in a similar situation in Division. Like, they want to take it back to that. The ability to be able to 1v multiple people. Which either means they need to change the way builds work, or yeah, completely ground up PvP, fundamental changes.
I'm hoping we're going to get something along those lines, but I think the other problem is you've got skills that come into effect. And you've got so many different build variations, at least with Destiny, you can kind of, yeah, it's a lot more narrower ballpark to kind of, you don't reckon?
No.
I don't know. I think the other problem we've got, not just with builds, but it's weapons as well. You know, people are complaining about, oh, I jumped in the Dark Zone or Conflict, and the Eagle Bearer is like the most powerful weapon out there, or the M60. But the problem is nothing else is. I'm not saying that you should have other weapons that kind of overpower those, or even, I don't want to say come close, but you should have something else up there as well. But like, no one's using SMGs. You have like a couple of shotgun builds. You have the old sniper build, but it's not. Most people are just running Eagle Bearer. There's not much variation with PvP builds, especially with the amount of rounds you've got with LMGs. It's, I mean, is that interesting to people to have like? I mean, how many rounds did you say you had the other day, Luke? Was it like 150?
300.
Was it 300?
You can get 300 on the new LMG, yeah.
So at that point, you're just holding down a button constantly. There's not.
But like we said last podcast,
oh, you remember now?
Simplification needs to happen.
Yes,
of the builds in one way or another.
Yeah, and once that's sorted, I think it's going to have like a trailing effect on everything else.
Yeah, it's going to make balancing easier for everything.
Yeah, because then people aren't spending ages trying to get like a PvP change.
But they don't want to go. They don't want to go too simple because otherwise that takes away from, because like one of the main things of the Division was, have you got a good build? Yeah, build diversity, and how hard you worked on your build and how long you grinded for that good piece.
But we didn't want to grind this hard. All right. I mean, did you? What was that percentage?
500 plus hours
for that like one sweet chest.
For that decent raid build that I'm not really using anymore.
Rip, I guess. I've got to be honest. I thought I was going to get a lot of flack for the TTK, and I know a lot of people want more substantial TTK, but I just don't think I don't think that should happen. In PvP, it should be low TTK and have other stuff there to back you up. And I honest to God think if they sort out builds, we'll get team play. If you have team play, then you'll have some kind of sustainability. But then we haven't got.
I disagree
healing.
with that. I think solo play needs to be a thing. That's what's going to bring the streamers back. That's what's going to make people watch the game. That's going to make one of people get.
But you need some
good enough to do that and try and do that.
But then you need some kind of other survivability, not just
they're going to have to make the healing skills better again.
Or bring in an additional healing skill, like a medkit that isn't a medkit, but maybe you have to sacrifice one of your other skills. I don't know. I know you've kind of got that with the chem launcher, but it's not as good, is it?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Since they've switched the armor plates, it's not the same as the Division. I can understand why they've done that because it's forcing you into cover, but it's only for a couple of seconds, isn't it?
You're going to cover in PvP, you're dead.
Yeah. Because out of cover damage isn't really a thing. And maybe that's the better thing to change rather than the TTK. If you maybe have it so if you're out of cover, you get the player causing damage is causing bonus damage to you.
Do you not think that sentence you've just said right there, though, Rob, makes no sense at all?
What do you mean?
You go into you go into cover in PvP, you're dead.
Yeah,
yeah, but that's the fact.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
though,
but maybe
that is the fundamental problem. Then maybe they need to make it so if you're in cover, then you take less damage. But then how do they moderate that?
Well, I'd say the opposite way round. You keep it the same as it is, but it would be easier to cause, because I'm pretty sure there was LMGs in the Division 1 caused more damage to players out of cover. Was it LMGs or a certain LMG? Something like that.
LMGs give
more damage out of cover was 10%.
Yeah, but they don't do it at the minute, so just apply that to all weapons. Or do they do that at the minute? If they do, I can't remember. I haven't been.
That doesn't solve the problem. You're making things out of cover more damage.
No.
10% more damage to players out of cover.
Whilst in cover?
No. That was never a thing. It was just if you were shooting people out of cover.
Yeah, you never had to be in cover.
You didn't have to be in cover.
Well, make it that in this one. So it's cover based. You want to kind of force people into cover.
Yeah, but that doesn't solve the problem. The fact that if you're in cover, you're dead because you're stationary.
To me, that whole sentence just sounds like an oxymoron.
It is fucked though.
Stop calling me a moron.
No, I'm not calling you a moron. I'm not picking on you for saying it. I'm just saying that the fact that is a thing in the game, to me,
is a fundamental flaw with PvP.
There's a fundamental flaw in PvP. Yes.
So how do you fix that? Do you make it so...
Again, you go back to the conversation that I've just had where you make TTK really low. If you're out of cover, you're dead.
It should be that, unless you're running a shield or something like that.
Mm.
Or have a more tanky player.
That's
a tankier player.
Another fundamental problem of PvP, and I've said this before and I'll end up saying it again, I'm sure, is everybody's idea of the perfect PvP is different. So I quite like the fact that Tarkov is punishing as fuck. Rob's already said on this podcast tonight that he would hate that.
No,
I don't hate that. I just don't think it suits the Division. Because the rest of the game is a RPG and you literally have to shoot magazines and magazines into bosses to kill them. It doesn't fit.
Neither does survival. Survival, like
I get
survival was like the original idea intended for the Division 1. And it's nowhere near that, but people keep calling for it to be back. I just thought that would be a way of bringing some kind of survival-esque thing back to the game without actually having to spend time creating survival, which I won't be surprised if it turns up in the future, but having a dark zone kind of like that, I think would just make it a bit more interesting for people. I mean, that's just my thoughts, but I think it's something that you'd have to try. Do you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't know if you like Tarkov until you've tried it. I can't really comment because I've not played Tarkov, but like you know how your reaction changed this week when you were playing Battlefront. I'm like, I'm not fucking playing Battlefront an hour in. I'm like, and you were like fucking loving it. So you don't know. I mean, you're clutch as fuck. So you could go into Tarkov and be better than anyone else. But there's that risk of losing everything that kind of is going to make you sweating and have that. I imagine that kind of feeling that you thought you had in the Division 1. I don't know.
Because when we PvP'd in Division 1, we already had everything. Pretty much. Like, we'd already...
When we did as a team of 3, yes. When I PvP'd at the start of Division 1, I didn't have everything.
I still remember going in there on my own in like 1.1 days and getting a Midas and then shitting myself and trying to extract it.
Mm-hmm. That's literally every Tarkov raid.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, but you have problems with anxieties, don't you?
True.
Give you a can of Relentless. Save that for tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, Rob, I think you just pointed out a fundamental flaw then.
What?
If you're being honest. With the majority of the game, with the fact that cover is the complete opposite of what it's supposed to do. And
imagine there was like some kind of mechanic similar to the Defender drone. Like when you went into cover, some of the bullets were deflected and you didn't get hit by all of them, so reduced damage. That means you wouldn't have to change the TTK. It just cover would be a viable thing. Like if you're getting blitzed, you can jump into cover, pop a heal, and even if you're getting shot at still, you'll be okay maybe.
But that's what it should be anyway, shouldn't it? That's the whole point in going to cover. Am I right, Luke?
Work like that.
No, I know, but am I right, Luke? That's what it should be.
I was literally just thinking that exact same thing in my head, thinking, am I going to say something out loud that's really stupid? Like Rob's talking about being in cover, and there's a point of being in. Rob's talking about being in cover, and he says then more bullets will get deflected. Well, yeah, that's what cover does. You hide behind something that deflects bullets. I know, but that's what it should do. I'm not saying it's what it does do, but that's what it fucking should do. You hide behind something, it eats the bullets for you. Like, you don't hide behind a fucking brick wall to expect to get shot through it, do you? Do you know what I mean?
But then, yeah.
So far, we're saying increase the dark zone space, not
server
dark
count.
zone space. Increase the server count, right?
Yes.
Sort the fucking builds out. Yeah. So being honest,
simplify them, yeah.
Simplify them to a degree, but also some of the talents, work on the talents, up the requirements for certain talents, maybe, so you can't get weapon damage if you're running a shit ton of electronics or whatever.
Give us pinnacle weapons in all activities, not just the fucking raid.
Yes. We need a lot more balance to the weapons that we've actually got already, and if some of them aren't being used, get rid of them. And then finally make cover great again, because at the minute, that's probably one of the main things. Because I remember that was one of the things we were most excited about when we saw the Division 2. It was like, holy fuck, people are in cover, they're not face tanking everything. Yet PvP seems to have gone back to face tanking again, and that was a huge complaint for like the last 2 years of the Division 1. It's like, we're supposed to be in a cover-based shooter, and no one's PvPing like that at all.
Well, if you're in cover, you deflect some bullets.
Look,
but
but
it also
doesn't.
increases your accuracy. This is going to help on console as well. Like it increases your accuracy to like the nth degree. Like it's not really going to help on PC because you're going to be pretty accurate anyway. But maybe it gives every weapon the accurate perk. I don't know. Well, maybe times 2 because it's not that great. But
It gives you aimbot status, right?
Well, no, but like,
I'm messing.
do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you should have some
laser
kind of.
beam every gun.
And then if you're literally caught out of cover, you're fucked because
if
it serves you right.
If you run,
didn't play
you've
tactical
been laser
enough.
beamed.
Yeah, you didn't play tactical enough. You
Yeah.
should have been in cover, or you should have had some kind of shield dude pushing across. Or it just kind of gives you a better situation of like flanking around people instead of just running at people. Like you think the tactics used in PvP and conflict and things like that, there's not really
There isn't really tactics. It's just
run at them. I mean,
shotgun them in the face, or snap them from miles away, or run at them with a skill.
I don't think you can lower the TTK much more though because of skills. Skills obviously being a huge thing now. They're obviously a lot better than they were before. I haven't played PvP with them, but it seems like they're in a better state.
I think we've covered everything. Should we end the
Almost.
podcast here?
No, almost. We got a bit more to do and then we're done.
Okay.
Because PvP also includes conflict, Rob.
Oh,
That lovely thing.
All the fixes we've just introduced will fix that as well. There we go. Done.
I give you 10 out of 10 for
Or
effort.
just delete the mode entirely.
Dude, people are saying that about PvP for the Division anyway.
Yeah.
Delete PvP from the Division.
Just make it a PvE game. Done. I like Luke's idea. Make a separate game.
I can kind of understand why Anthem was like, you know what, we're not going to bring PvP to the game because
why the fuck would we? Why would we do that? Why would we make this game harder than it already is to
I'll be honest.
to balance?
It's not your worst idea.
Delete the game mode?
No, just can't believe I'm going to fucking say this out loud. Make Division 3 PvE only.
I would not be surprised if that's where it goes. Would you?
Every PvPer at one point or another moaned about PvP in Division 1. We're all doing it in Division 2, and it's worse than it ever was, if I'm being brutally honest. Like, sorry.
I understand it because from what I've seen of like the new Ghost Recon PvP,
That'll be shit as well.
yeah, but no, like it looks pretty good. It's like definitely a lot more tactical than the Division. Like, yeah,
You can't. What you mean? You can't face tank people?
no, you definitely can't. There's a lot of sniping involved though. A lot of like, it's a lot.
Well,
of,
that-
there's
I
a
mean,
lot of
that'd be
the fact that
funny.
you can't see the other player because you're all in bushes and shit.
That just sounds like
Airsofting.
Battlegrounds. Just
Yeah,
turn down
no,
the
yeah.
graphics. Just turn down the graphics settings. You'll be fine. You'll be able to see the dude hide in the bushes. You'll be fine.
No, I
That's
don't-
what they do, right?
Yeah, maybe.
You're answering a question with I think I know what the fuck you're on about question. Okay, let's go on with conflicts. Okay, so conflicts, let's be honest, when we first mentioned, should I say, we kind of thought it was going to be awesome. We enjoyed PvP, including the 4v4, and when we played the Division 1, it was all good. And then we also I swear we were banging on about domination at one point in the Division 1 PvP skirmish or something like that. And yeah, it was fun to start with, and now it's kind of gone shit. We've already discussed like the Dark Zone builds, meta normalization, and shit like that. I think the main thing is matchmaking. Would you agree with regards to conflict? Matchmaking is a big problem.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, when they first talked about it, they said it was going to be skill based, and the more matches you played, the better the team matchmaking it was going to be. It's not the case anymore. I don't think that's the case. I think there's not many people playing it, so you just get matched with whoever the fuck's you playing at the same time.
I think you probably hit the nail on the head there.
That's
Luke?
probably true, yeah. Like, to stop you doing the infinite loading loop, they were just like, well, we've got all these...
It probably tries to matchmake you.
Yeah, we've got all these
Gives
awesome
up
mechanics for
and times
matchmaking,
out
but
and
nobody's playing it, so you've waited for 60 seconds, so here, just play these guys instead.
He plays this full of clan tryhards.
Yeah, well, when you actually get a match, it tends not to be balanced. It's pretty much bloodshed. Either you're slaughtering the other team, or they're absolutely fucking wrecking you. And spawn camping is a huge fucking issue in conflict. That needs to really be sorted, because I swear half the time it doesn't switch quick enough, if I remember right. You can be in that spawn.
Or they're aware, or if the whole team's there spawn camping, they're aware it's switched and they just run to the side.
Yeah. So basically, we need a ranked version of the PvP modes.
Oh no, we don't.
You don't reckon?
No.
You don't think that would put people in more of a skill-based mode?
No.
What, you don't want that? Why?
Well, that's just like when you play... No, that wouldn't work.
You're going to say Siege, yeah?
No, you already get... The matchmaking doesn't work now. You try and go into... No. You try and go into a ranked game, and there's no one playing, and they fuck the matchmaking up, and you end up playing freaking a team that should be playing esports. You might as well just sit down and just quit the game then. Just uninstall.
Right. Okay,
what would be wrong with giving you the choice at that point then? So let's say, right, the mechanics for ranked matchmaking, that gives you, like, they either tell you when you install this mode, or it tells you on the screen, we will try and match you with a ranked opponent in your ranking bracket within the next 180 seconds. If we can't find you one, tick this box here and we will match you with the next team that comes along. And if you don't tick that box, it just then resets the 180 seconds and you just sit there waiting until you find somebody within your rank bracket.
You would be sat there a long time.
That's fine. You've got the choice then, or you just back out and play something else. It gives you a conscious choice then, whether you want to get your ass handed to you as a challenge.
No one's going to make that choice.
Yeah, but you could then test yourself, couldn't you?
Why would you even give that to a choice to someone? Do you want to get your ass handed to you?
Yes.
on a plate.
How do you get better?
Box.
How do you get better at something? You keep playing it and you test yourself against better people.
But there's a... Yeah, I agree with that, but there's a... There's kind of a limit to that. If you're getting annihilated, then you can't learn.
If you're rank 1 and you get matched with a rank 90, yes, you're going to lose. But if you're rank 1 and your rank bracket was up to 5 and you get ranked against a 6, you might win if you're good enough.
I mean, I'd agree if there was enough players playing this match, this game.
Yeah, but you've got to the fixes that you're putting in. You've got to assume that will bring people back to the game mode, so that then
you can't take it off its current state.
Oh, hypothetically
speaking, Robert.
Yeah, let's not just put ranked in it tomorrow and hope it fixes everything. You oxymoron.
Stop coming on.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't play ranked, but yeah, go for it.
Well, what if ranked was normalized? That's not normalized, not fucking normalized, unnormalized. It's just, that's it. You have the standard mode that is...
No, I agree with the normalized to unnormalized mode, but why would you make it ranked? Why would you make that seclude?
Well, why would you make it normalized when it nerfs your build, including skill power?
Because even with the normalization, some people go in there with builds that are stupidly strong anyway. Yeah.
But normalization isn't perfect. It needs some work to it.
Normalization isn't perfect because there's that much difference between the builds.
Yes.
Hence the simplification.
Just take it all out and just give people set fucking classes to play.
I agree, and that's why I wrote it down. Like we've said this before, give us access to give us access to a pre-loadout lobby, an idealized version with, I don't know, one of each specialization running different skills and weapons. Maybe allow players to choose a variation of certain skills. and weapon, much like what Siege does.
I felt like they could make a funny out. They could call one of them called Alex. What were the other players that they used
Ramos.
Ramos. Like they used to some of the NPCs in the first game used to shout out, "No, you got Tony or whatever. You killed Alex."
Yeah,
but I think having like a mode. I know that's not really fixing conflict. This is just something else that I'd like to see in there, because I just think it would be a lot more balanced and a lot more fun. It's one of the reasons we like Siege, isn't it? Because
what if there was like a game mode that was completely unbalanced?
Like every game mode in the game now, you mean?
No, I mean like say
big head mode.
You could either pick hunter or agent, and you had four hunters, and they were like
OP as fuck.
And then you had like 6 agents, and you had to take out the hunters.
I feel like Eidolon Fox tried to get us to buy a game that was the thing. I can't remember what game he was playing, but you get to be the one that people are chasing, or you get to be a part of the team that are chasing.
That just sounds like the Friday the 13th game where you play as is it Jason, and you go around killing.
Yeah, it's a bit like Death Garden as well.
Yeah, I think it was probably Death Garden that Foxy was on about.
You're either the hunter, or you're hiding from the hunter.
Hunted, yeah.
Or Dead by Daylight, I guess.
Or Evolve, which died very quickly.
Let's just list the number of games that do the same PvP. Can we think of any more? I know you can do that in Roblox.
Minecraft?
Probably. Probably there's a mod in Minecraft. GTA?
Super Mario Maker 2?
I feel like we've lost the track somewhere.
What
Took a wrong turn.
All right, okay, look, say they did it. Say they added that game mode. So they've given you 4 operators, and you can choose, like, obviously a way I would see it is if you were playing rogues, you'd have access to a pulse, which would cause disruption or something like that to the other team. Like, you'd have set of things that would kind of be opposite, so they wouldn't be the same, kind of like what Siege does.
So they could balance each other.
Yes. So they could counteract and balance it. Yeah.
So instead of attackers and defenders, you'd have rogues and non-rogues then, yeah?
Would you want like the Overwatch style, like every attacker has a counter?
Yes, that would be quite good, because that's
every
also
operator has a counter suit.
Yeah,
and you could switch mid-team, mid-game.
Can you just put Siege in this game?
Well, no, I don't want to put Siege into the game, because just fucking go play Siege.
I know, that's what I was trying to get.
Mike, go fucking play Siege.
I like the idea of every operator every agent having a counter, like what Overwatch does, and then you can switch, because like if it's going to be like conflict is now, you die, you respawn, maybe you can switch player to counter someone who's OP. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah?
To a degree, but
I mean, Mike, you like Overwatch, don't you?
I like Overwatch, but that's a lot.
That's the main aspect of that game.
Yeah, it is. That is one of the main. Yeah, when I think about it, I'm thinking the problem is I'm like, it's a Clancy game. I'm thinking about it from Siege point of view, where you choose a character, you go in, you pretty much playing that character for the whole round. But then
you can't switch.
You're
also
dead. You're out.
Yeah, you also can't respawn, can you? So
no, I didn't think about it from that point of view. I completely forgot about that.
The one to copy in that type of format is Overwatch.
Yeah,
you load in as character A, you die. You load in as character A again, you die. You think, fuck this, I'll try character B.
Character B, so I'm going to go character C, because that counters character B.
Bang on.
Yeah, you'd have to have like, how many loadouts have we got? 5, 6? You'd have to have
6.
maybe 8 different loadouts that you could choose from. And obviously, as they
like you said, you load in as a rogue that's got a pulse build. So you'd have a non-rogue agent that has something that counters pulse, and you just go through each of the skills. So you've got a pulse build, you've got a turret build, you've got a fucking seeker mine build, you've got a DPS build, you've got a healer build, you've got a shield tank build, you've got a fucking...
These are all very good ideas.
But before you interrupt, Rob, I want to ask you the question, Luke. why would you want this game mode?
Well, why not?
Apart from just, why not?
So we spent an hour talking about how to fix PvP, and you're now asking me why you want me to fix PvP.
Because it's broken. There you go, done.
I'm saying, why would you want a specific operator, agent, shade, rogue
Because it's easy to
game mode?
balance.
Because by nature, it is balanced. It's not easier to balance, it's balanced.
You could also use it as a dedicated testing ground for builds and weapons as well.
I'm not thinking about that. It's balanced. Ergo, it's more enjoyable. Ergo, more people will play it.
And you can introduce more agents.
Agreed.
To
and you
change the meta.
And yeah, you can change the meta on like a seasonal basis.
Yeah, needs to happen because
even if they don't introduce
scale games boring.
Even if they don't introduce more agents because you run out of skills and stuff to do, just withdraw some.
I gotta be honest. The more and more I think about it, I can. If they decided to take Division 3 completely PvE, and we have PvP on the side,
let's make it completely PvP.
No. I'm just saying, like, if they have PvP, make the whole game PvP?
Yeah,
Division 3,
just
Rogue
Division
Central,
Overwatch.
Division Overwatch.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know how when we were talking about Division 1, they were already making Division 2?
They're
already making. Well, no, they're making.
Guaranteed,
Avatar.
it's PvE.
No, they're making Avatar, dude. Division 3's after that. Maybe.
Depends how well Avatar does.
Oh man, this could be an Avatar podcast this time next year.
Yes.
Not with me on it, it won't.
Yeah, 3 months in. I'm back, boys. He's like, nah, fuck it. I'm going to go restart that fucking Battlefront podcast. It does go back to what you said. It would just be easy to balance. And I could just see if we end up with a PvE, the Division 3, maybe that would be the best way to go if they're ever going to add PvP to it. Just a dedicated loadout operator mode that you don't bother taking your builds into. It's just pre-set up, ready to go, and it's even and it's fair, because that's what people want. And I think it would actually be probably more fun than some of the PvP. Well, it's going to be definitely a lot more fun than the
with
PvP
a
that we've got.
minimalistic campaign that explains the backstory for each operator. Love it. There you go.
No, just
Sold.
a cutscene. Cutscene. Done.
I don't like the way that Overwatch does their like lore. It's dog shit.
Wait, Siege does it.
Also dog shit.
Okay. Yes, also.
What?
You were saying also?
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what I was going to say.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've gone over that. Do you guys want to see Last Stand return?
No.
I've seen this a lot.
No. Go away.
Why?
It's terrible. Go away. Let's keep going. Next question.
Yeah, quick fire round. Let's go.
Come on. I want to go to bed.
Really? It's only 5 to 11. What are you on about?
I need a wee.
You don't want to go to bed. You just want to play Destiny. I know what you like. Give us the ability to create custom matches.
Yes.
Rob.
Yes,
Next.
definitely.
They want clans to be a thing. There's no competition apart from who finishes the raid first every so often. Clan versus clan is something we've said about before, and it should be an easy addition to the game compared to some of the things we've seen requested on Reddit.
Like operators.
Operators, yep. Another one being, hey, can we have a huge fucking DZ just in the middle of the map somewhere? I keep seeing that on Reddit.
Can you remember how excited we were when we knew that clans were coming to the game and we knew that conflict was coming to the game, and then somebody data mined that one of the commendations was clan versus clan?
Yes.
And we thought that they were giving us clan matchmaking, and then it just turns out that it's RNG, that you get this commendation if you happen to fight against a team of 4. It's just like,
What the fuck? Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
massive giveth and massive taketh away.
I don't understand why this has not been added. This is something we've been screaming for since the Division 1, and I'm just like, I'm in kind of awe that this has not been done yet. You could run, like, the community could run competitions, or I don't know.
Well, they could if the PvP was in a good state.
hey, let's talk about that on a different day.
Wait,
What?
I'm joking. But I don't know. I don't understand why this has not been added already. This would like be the bow on the fucking cake if everything else was
What the fuck?
weird fucking people wrap ribbons around cakes. I'm just saying.
How do you cut a cake with a ribbon around it? The fuck is going on?
Around the fucking
Take the
outside.
ribbon off and then you cut it.
Yeah, come on.
Dude, I'm too fat for that shit. Just give me my cake.
Get in my belly.
I'll eat the ribbon. Fuck it.
Is this ribbon edible?
It is now.
It's just that moment where it's like,
Is it made of sugar paper?
it's that moment where it's like, what ribbon? He's already fucking eating it. But it would be fucking good, wouldn't it?
What, eating ribbons? No, not really.
Eating ribbons, yeah.
It's not good for your stomach line, I don't think.
No. Just quickly going back to Last Stand, I do think that I'm not saying bring back Last Stand at all. I don't want
to shut up about Last Stand.
I don't want fucking Last
Please.
Stand back. But I do think having bigger maps and having the old 8v8 or bringing 12v12s back or something like that would be a good addition to the game. We need more maps, more modes.
Again,
Capture the flag.
Agree if PvP was in a
Yeah,
decent state.
If it's in a better state.
Let's
yes.
fix it first and then worry about that.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
There should also be a pinnacle reward attached to that.
What, for conflict?
Yeah.
So something like an exotic, a gear set, vanity.
Yeah, an exotic pinnacle reward. Or like a named weapon that's really good.
I do think we definitely need some kind of rank system. Not ranked, but we need like a rank system for kind of like what the Underground had.
Well, there is a rank system. You go from 1 to 50, right?
Oh, yeah, but it doesn't give you anything but, hey, here's a cash. I don't think it
well, there's
rewards
vanity rewards. Pretty
Is
sure
there?
there is, yeah. Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah, I
there
think there is, because I remember Boris farming for it.
Okay, cross that off. Done. I don't know. We just have to see what happens with TU6 at the end of the day.
Don't fuck it up, ETF.
We did have questions and feedback today, but we're going to save that for another
Did
podcast. Yes.
We had a lot of feedback on Mike's Twitter feed, to be fair.
Yeah.
But that would take
That's
another
the whole
hour, I think.
podcast, right? Save that for next week, then. Is that more of PvP, though?
I
Yes.
don't know, we'll have to see. Some of it's PvP, but I think maybe we'll talk about Endgame next week.
The film?
Yeah, the movie.
Yes. So I hope you've both seen it before next week. No, it's going to be spoilers as well. Okay.
Okay. Is Spider-Man back in the MCU yet?
Rumor is yes,
Cool.
Shock horror.
but it's not confirmed. We'll see.
Of course he is.
Fucking Disney, greedy bastards.
Fucking
Anyway,
publicity stunt my ass.
yeah, it's probably fucking Sony or some shit trying to get more money. Anyway, Roberts,
Yes.
where can the listeners
Oh
find
shit,
us?
I've got to read something. You can find us over at SITREP Radio on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
Cover
As
your
well
eyes.
as our personal... What?
Cover your eyes and read it.
No, I can't read that without... No,
Take your glasses off and read it.
I can do that. It's fine. Short-sighted, you douche. Send any questions or feedback for the show to sitrepod@gmail.com, or you can... I'm squinting now. You can find us on the Discord. The link will be in the show notes. We want to hear your thoughts on the news and topics we cover in the show. So to be sure to leave a comment and join the discussion in any of those places.
Wow, just fucking wow. Please put your glasses back on so you don't have the tiny eyes of a shrew anymore.
They're back on.
Looks a lot like Brad when he takes his glasses off, doesn't he? I'm just going to leave it at that. Please leave a review of the show using the podcast app of your choice. We really do enjoy reading them all. The feedback is usually pretty excellent, and at the end of the day, it does actually help other people to find our show. If you listen all the way to the very end of this podcast, you'll hear all the juicy details about the other awesome shows that are available on the Masters Buttons Network. Thank you all.
We do live stream it as often as we can, so if you're interested in dropping by and chatting with us whilst we play The Division and some other games, you can find us all over at twitch.tv/SITREP Radio. We have been the train wreck known as SITREP Radio. Thank you very much for listening, agents, and we will catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Sequence complete. Security protocols deactivated. Server data replaced and CPU destroyed. Terminating connection in 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extraction.